Inherited IRA do's and don'ts for spouses in particularly. That's what we're going to talk about here today. Because I've been in this business a long time, and I've seen some just major mistakes happening when it comes to inherited IRAs. It's bad stuff that could have easily been avoided. So we're going to talk about that here with my trusty old whiteboard here. So I hope you find this informative. And if you like what you see at Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel, subscribe, thumbs up, and then comments, shares, the whole thing. Anything you can do to tell the YouTube algorithm that my content is good makes the YouTube algorithm put my content in front of other people, which hopefully brings them and encourages them to watch as well. All right, so in this case, we're going to take we're going to say you and then your spouse. Husband and wife, doesn't matter. Married couple. You each got $100K in your various IRAs, all right? So you each got $100,000 in your various IRAs. In this example, let me get my trusty pen. There we go. No, that's not the one I wanted. In this example, I thought I had an orange one up here. Let's see if this one works. We're going to say, we'll say this is the husband and this is the wife, well, just for simplicity. We're going to say the wife is 50 years old. In this stage, it doesn't matter how old the husband was. The husband could be 75, it could be 65, it could be 60 years old. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. But the wife in this regard is 50 years old. All right? So what typically happens is that the spouse, in this case the wife, will roll over this money into her IRA, and now she has $100K to add to her own. So now she has $200K in her total IRA. All right, now, why is that potentially a bad move? Because the fact that she's under 59 and a half, I keep stepping on my PVC pipe, means if she were going to take distributions from this, it will be subject to a 10% penalty. So in this case, let's bust out the red. As she took $20,000 out, $20,000 is going to be subject to a $2,000 penalty because she is under the age of 59 and a half. So, if she thinks there is a remote likelihood that she could take money from the IRA, in this case, the $200,000, what should she do? Well, she should leave. Let's get rid of all this. She should leave it just like this. Because now, when she pulls $20,000 out, no penalty. No penalty, because it doesn't matter how old this guy is. It could be 20 years old. It doesn't matter. It matters how old she is as a survivor. So in this case, she still has $100,000 growing tax deferred without taking distributions out, but she does have access to this money without the 10% penalty. That right there just saved her $2,000 of taxes that she would not have otherwise paid if she would have rolled this over. So don't do that. Do not do this. Leave it here. Leave it there. Now the drawback about leaving it here is if it's an inherited IRA, there are going to be required minimum distributions. And I don't have my calculator here or my tables on the IRS. All right, so let's say the required distributions, I don't even know it would be based on that year. So she has this inherited IRA. She has to take required distributions based on her life expectancy. We're not talking much, my friends. I mean, if at 70 and a half, your RMDs is 27.4 is their divisor. I mean, here's, I don't know, 35, 40 or something like that. Let's just say it's 40. And I literally have no idea. I mean, I'm just going off. We'll say it's 40. So you got $100,000 divide by 40. That's $2,500 you got to take out. I mean, what to do? You got to take out $2,500. You got to pay income tax on the $2,500. It won't be subject to a penalty because death is one of the exceptions on early withdrawal penalties. All right. So again, matters not the age of the guy who died or the lady who died. It only matters the age of you. So if there is a remote likelihood that you're going to need access to this cash, do not roll it to your own IRA. Just leave it there. So now you got two IRAs. You got your inherited one and you got your one. You got your regular good old-fashioned IRA. Neither of which are subject, let me back up. This would be subject to required minimum distributions because it's inherited. This would not be subject to required distributions because you own it. All right. I mean, at this stage, this will be subject to required distributions in the future. Don't get me wrong, when you're 70 and a half. But neither of them are subject to 10% penalty if you play them against each other. I need money, take it from here. Don't need money, don't leave it be. That's all there is to it. However, you will have to take RMDs from this, and you will not have to take RMDs from that until you're 70. So there's a couple things to consider there, but I'm just telling you, for the ability to have access to the entirety without a 10% penalty until you hit 59 and a half, I don't see any reason whatsoever that you'd want to roll this into your own IRA. I just don't. In fact, I would see a high reason to leave it as is. I hope this makes sense. A lot going on there. Once you break 60, let's do my orange. Once you break 60 years old, I said 59 and a half, but 60, by all means, roll it to your IRA. I got no problem with that. Then you have two. But until you're 60 years old, don't do it. I'm just telling you. If you're a surviving spouse, inherit an IRA, your husband's KIA or something like that, don't roll it to your own IRA. It makes no sense to do that. Leave it in an inherited IRA and just let it be. Now, when it comes to this, all right, so now we're back to 50 years old. We have two IRAs. This should be your more conservative one because that's the money that you might want to tap into between the ages of 50 and 60. This should be your more aggressive one, simply because you're not going to touch this one at all. You're not. I mean, you can, but that'd be stupid. Why would you touch this when you have access to this? So now you have two pots of money. Make the one that's more likely to be tapped into more conservative. You know, if you're going to get corporate bonds, that's what would be in place in here, corporate bonds. This one would be where you have your stocks. Because again, this is the one you have access to. This is the one you don't. I mean, again, for real, you do, yes, but for penalty-wise, you don't. So in this case, you want to reevaluate how these are invested. They shouldn't be invested the same. If they're 50-50 stocks and bonds, that's dumb. Don't do that. What we'd want to do, all right, sorry about the chicken scratch here, but what we want to do, because you're under the age of 59 and a half, we want to invest this guy, oops, let's just say your 50-50 portfolio, all right, 50 stocks to bonds. Here will our stocks be, and here will our bonds. You're 100% 50-50 at that stage. You're still 50-50. Bonds here, stocks here. Why? Because you have access to this. We don't have access to that for 10 more years. Does that make sense? Now, I'm telling you what will happen a lot. This is just bad planning, and I see it all the time. You're a 50-50 investor, and you're going to say, sorry, I hope too much noise back there. I just had to bend down and get this. You're a 50-50 investor, and you're going to say, I'll have 50-50 here, 50-50 there. Now, that's bad planning. That's bad. You shouldn't do that. If you're 50-50 or 65-35, you want your bonds over here, you want your stocks over here simply because of the distribution rules. I hope that makes sense. There's a lot going on there. I get that. But man alive, it's critically important to understand how that works when it comes to inherited IRAs. This is spousals. If it's a non-spousal, you can't roll into your own IRA anyway, so it doesn't matter. Only if it's a spousal IRA. All right, so again, Jenny, her husband John just dies. Jenny is under the age of 59 and a half. Jenny should do what? Should she roll that IRA to her own and consolidate them, or should she leave it be? I hear you out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I hear you. She should leave it be, without question. Make it an inherited IRA. Jenny is over the age of 59 and a half. What should she do? Well, consolidate them. Absolutely no reason not to at that point. Because she's over the age of 59 and a half, she should consolidate them, and that way she can make sure she just has one simple account to manage. Done and done. Until Jenny is 59 and a half, please leave the IRA alone. All right. Well, I hope this helps. If you have comments, questions, thoughts, Have you known anyone who's gone through this? Have you seen where they might have made a mistake? They combined them when they shouldn't have combined them, and then later on they got the penalty. Maybe you saw your grandma, your mom, maybe you saw your neighbor. I don't know. Have you seen where these mistakes have been made? I'd love to hear your comments, because this is a pretty big deal, and I think people don't get it right a lot, actually, and that's just too bad. So subscribe, comment, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks now. Bye-bye.